Samsung C460W, also known as the Clx-3305 FW, and also known as the C460FW with the feeder. Today's video is covering, yet again, paper jamming from tray 1. Okay, so menu, system setup. Paper jam tray 1. So this problem is pretty much the same as all the rest, only it's a lot more easier to repair. So what we have going on is this roller up here is not rotating, or it's rotating and the roller is dirty. Start off by cleaning this roller with a rag and turpentine. Following that does not fix your problem. Unplug the power cord. In this machine, they don't really use screws to hold it together. We can just open it up, grab this bit, grab down here, open the rear door. There is a screw supposed to be here, a screw supposed to be up in here, one down in there, and then one down in there. So we can pull on the chassis under here, and then the whole side cover just simply comes away. So in this model of printer you will never get the A4-11 something something error code, because they finally fixed the problem with the solenoid by using a different type of magneto clutch which never breaks. So on this model of machine we need to get to the pickup solenoid. On this one, unlike every other model, it's simply a case of undoing these two screws here. The solenoid lives down in here, so you have to undo those two screws. You have to pull the main board out, and behind in here, down in that section down in there is a screw that you have to take off, which stops this from coming out. So I won't be doing this one-handed. I will be pausing the video and doing it bit by bit. So to begin with, we start by removing cables. So when you're pulling the cables off, you grab it like this and pull like so. Start off with the easy ones. You're always grabbing it in the middle and using an equal amount of pressure across the entire plug. Now the ribbon cables are a bit harder to do. You can actually tear them when you pull them off, and you can actually damage the leading edge when you're pulling them off. So with these ones, simply grab it like so and just gently ease it out. All these bits are put in by a machine at the factory. And then what you also want to do is make sure you've got one shoe off and that you're grounding yourself to earth, because you don't want to touch the connectors on the side here, because you can do damage through static electricity, as we're now getting into static electricity season in Australia. Okay, so that, and then we will carefully pull this one up, carefully pull this one up, carefully pull that one up, that one up, that one. Alright, and we will take this screw out over here. This screw out. And we'll pull this screw out. Okay, we now grab the board just on the edge, and we lift it up and just slide it out. Sit that over there. Now the screw in question that is the right royal pain in the butt is this one right here. So that screw holds this thing on from coming out. When we finish fixing this, we're not going to put this screw back in. It's not necessary, and it just means if anything goes wrong in the future, you can quickly get into it and get out. It's been a while since I've done one of these. We may have to do that screw there as well. So we'll undo these two next, and we'll see if that one has to come out as well. I don't see too many of these printers anymore for repair, as they're not a very economical machine to run. The toners are quite expensive for the very low number of pages you get out of it. I think the retail cost of toners are around $75 for genuines. The cartridges only deliver about 600 pages yield, so you get just over one ream of paper. So let's see if this comes out now. No, we'll have to take that screw out as well. Maybe that one as well. It's been so long since I've done one of these. I haven't done one of these since 2018. I can't really remember. Ah, no, it doesn't look like that one was needed. But anyway. I guess we've got to take these two out as well. Like I said, it's been a very long time. So just remember, all these screws are different. Some are screwing into plastic, some are screwing into metal. So they've got finer threads. Just keep them all together. Out of the road. Why can't I get that off? I can't remember. Alright, so we'll pull the back off as well. That's right, I'm going to open that. Alright, I need to pause this and reevaluate. It's been so long since I've done one. Of course, we have to undo this screw in here. Funny thing is, the other Samsungs are looking a lot easier now, where you just simply get the Dremel out and cut a hole. This is bottom of the range machine. It's the cheapest colour laser printer you can get. And we undo that one down there. And for those of you that aren't aware of how printers work, the cheaper you pay for your printer, the more expensive the cartridges cost you in the long run. So if you're thinking about buying a $299 colour laser printer, spend an extra $100 and you'll save yourself thousands of dollars over many years. Alright, so now that's off, that's now coming free. That's all free down there. And then it's just a matter of working this free up here. There we go. How hard was that? And when we have a look inside, we can see once again this is a actuating solenoid for the clutch mechanism here. Right there, there's the clutch mechanism that's actuated by that solenoid, which in turn makes this roller spin. So, how do we get in there? We take this gear out, we take this gear out, we take this gear out, and I think we will... let's see if we can get it out without pulling the rest out. Now, because we've got good access to this machine, unlike other Samsungs, we've got really good access to this clutch mechanism. You can see in here there is a tiny little compression spring. The job of that compression spring is this is a split clutch mechanism. The spring is there to push the clutch mechanism into its actuating. So it starts off, the gears are in unison and then they split and the spring pushes it back. This spring also has a habit of going weak, so you may have to pull this out and increase just ever so slightly the pressure being put out by this little leaf spring. You don't want to make the pressure too much, otherwise when this thing whacks down it won't rotate. So we'll see if we can get this out without removing the rest. That would be a negative. So you've got little clips, one here, one here, and that's what holds this clutch mechanism on. You only want to push it out just ever so slightly, like so. You can break these, and if you break these you might as well go and buy a brand new printer. So we will just ever so slightly bring it out. As the machine gets older, the plastic gets more brittle. So we've done one. If I'm doing this one-handed, I'm pretty sure you can do it two-handed. Just don't get overzealous on the pressure. Okay, and now that's ever slow coming out. Like so. So this is the clutch mechanism. It's spring loaded. So you can see on this one, the spring is actually weak. So if I push it all the way up and then I slowly release it, it doesn't come all the way back. So we will have to pull this apart and just check it out. So to open this up, you move it to the closed position, you push on that clip, you push on that clip ever so slightly, and you carefully separate the two, being sure not to lose this spring inside as well. So probably do it somewhere where if the spring does fly out you can easily find it, so in a locked room. Alright, so let's stick that down there. So closing it. Okay, so we've got the clips free, and we just carefully want to bring it out and release the pressure on that spring. Okay, and you've got to be careful not to break these two arms. And flip it over, and there you can see the spring that's gotten weak. Okay, then we simply just want to grab that spring. Just stretch it out a little bit, not too much. Okay, now the other problem is the shaft will deform slightly because it's simply a nylon plastic. I'm going to take a bit of tire shine, not too much. Just give it a good coating. Stick the spring back on. And then we will stick it back together. So I'm pretty sure the spring goes in here. And now you can see that actuates a lot better. Just got to make sure there's a little bit of give at the end. Snap it, do it ever so slightly. Yeah, that looks pretty good, so put that aside. And now move on to the other part. Back to the solenoid. So we don't want to lose the spring's very easy to lose. I'm just going to pause and go get some pliers for this part. Alright, so we got ourselves some long nose pliers. We simply want to reach in, lift it up and over. So we're going to do the super glue trick on this one as well. This little pad is in the correct position. If when you pull your printer out, this pad is not in this position, it can, if you're in a hot country where it can get up to 45 degrees plus, the glue that keeps this pad in this position can soften and the pad will move on the plate. I have seen this sponge in some customers' machines where the sponge has simply, due to gravity and heat, the sponge has ended up over here in this part over here, and of course it needs it to be there for the solenoid to work properly. So I'll go get some super glue and we'll put a drop on there, push it into the foam so that the foam absorbs the super glue, and that creates a firmer bond. Alright, so here we have Okay, so we just want to take our super glue and we just want to put one little drop of super glue on the foam in here. And then we just want to push that super glue into the foam. Make sure it sucks it up and absorbs the super glue. And then just put a bit of super glue around the edge to stop the pad from moving around. You've also got a pad in here as well. We want to put a drop of super glue on that pad as well. And then push it into the foam. Just get the foam to absorb it and suck it in. Okay, so the super glue is now dried on both pads. Now we can put it back together. Okay, now that's all in. And put the solenoid back down. So we're just checking the operation of it. You simply push on here and it releases the clutch. So now we can see that this clutch mechanism is working properly. Alright, so while you're also in here, you want to check these shafts here to see if they're lubricated or not. The grease is starting to go tacky, so we'll just put some oil on that as well. Okay, so we've now got some oil on there. And it's just a matter of putting all the gears back in. It all looks really good, and then we just put it all back together. Just making sure this lines up with that bit there. Or sure this lines up with that bit there. Alright, so that unit's in, that's unit's in. We'll just put the screws back in on all of them. Alright, so we've put that screw in there back in. We've put that screw up there back in. We've put this screw back there in, but we are not putting that screw, and we are not putting that screw back in there. Alright, so we've got the board back on. It's just a matter of putting the screws in now, here and here, and then we start plugging everything back in from the way it was before. Okay, so the board's all screwed back in now. It's just simply a matter of taking the ribbon cables and plugging them all in. Alright, so now we've got it all partially back together. We're just going to do a test run before we put it all fully back together. Make sure the paper's square. Okay, there's no error on the screen, so we will now do a test print. And hopefully it all works. Cool. Well, no, this printer has yet another problem. So we have fixed the paper jamming problem, only to end up with something else being wrong with it. Let's try this. Alright, so we fixed the problem that came in before, but like anything, when customers don't tell us the full picture, we end up fixing more than what we've ended up quoting them to repair. So that's the paper jamming problem fixed. I'll move on to the next problem, the blank image printing. I think that might be a second video. So if that helps you out with your paper jamming issue, buy me a coffee, the link's there. Any amount's appreciated. If you would like us to come out and fix this problem in your printer on site in the Brisbane and Gold Coast area, we charge $160 to fix this particular issue. Message us or phone us and we'll come out and do it. We'll either do it on site or we will pick up your printer, fix it and return it back to you. Thanks.